Okay, are you ready? Okay. So I'd like to call the meeting to order. Marina Apt is on vacation, and I anticipate Robert and I being present shortly. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is right behind you. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So thank you. The mission statement of the Viroqua Area School District is the Viroqua Area School District provides a quality education for all students that inspires continuous learning, positive relationships, curiosity and compassion in an environment that welcomes diversity while developing respectful and responsible citizens. We would like to move topic under information that is about summer school. So we are going to move that topic to the very front of the agenda. So it's back to school. And with that, Tom, who would you like to begin presenting information on back to school?
I can start.
Okay.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you everybody for coming. I know that it's been a very interesting last couple of years since I've started here in Viroqua, now starting year 2. And as we're going through, we've gone through a number of different changes as far as how we operate and the day-to-day operations of the district due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So first of all, I do want to give you guys an update. And as I sent out a couple of weeks ago, that I was hopeful that we could stay in a mask-friendly environment. And I also said that that was subject to change. And that was based upon not only, conversations with the county health department, but also with our medical advisory team. And so I do want to take a second and just, as you guys can probably tell by the number of gray hairs that I've gained over the past year, that it has, these decisions are not easy. And so as we're going through, I do want to just take a moment that while decisions like coming back to school with masking or unmasking is a very heavy decision. A year ago, almost to the day, we were discussing whether or not we were able to even come back to school in person. And really heavily weighing, whether we could be in person or did we go to a hybrid model, and we ended up going hybrid model between 7 through 12, and then K through 6, where it was in the full days. And so again, this is a much better decision, not better. It's not an easy decision, but I'd much rather be in the position we are today, where we're talking mask versus not mask, or mask versus mask optional, or mask friendly, whatever language you would like to put with it, versus again where we were just a year ago, where we were deciding, and we had teachers that didn't know they were teaching virtually until the last minute. I see a couple of you in the crowd here. Thank you for being flexible and adjusting there. So as we're going through, while there are fewer choices to make, that doesn't make them easy choices. And our job is to educate students. We do feel that the best way to educate students is in person. And that's why we are coming back 5 days a week in person. And then the best way to keep everyone in person is definitely to make smart masking decisions. And so after a lot of conversation, not only with the medical professionals within our community, but throughout the state and the country, we will be following a metric of daily cases per 100,000 people to determine when we will be masking required versus mask friendly. So that number is 10 per 100,000 of daily new cases for the week. So we do have some examples that I'd like to show you as far as what that looks like. And so that is following the CDC and the DHS and our county's guidelines. As far as if we started school today, that would be following it. And so we would be we would be masking required at this point in time. And so we will be following by the guidelines of our, the guidance of our medical advisory team. The following website, we will link this up to our site itself. And so what this looks like is if you look over to the left, and I don't have the clicker, so I'm going to try to operate. Nope, that's okay. So the top left number is that's the daily new cases per 100,000. And so again, right now the county is sitting at 13.9. If we'll look at some of the historical context of that as we go and scroll down the website. You can look at infection rates, positive rates, vaccinated rates. We're not focusing on that for this particular decision. We are focusing on how the county is being affected. And if you look at some of the recommendations, especially at the county level, it is based on whether we are in these different categories of transmission rates and risk to the county. And so again, when that risk drops, so does that recommendation. And so when we go down, we can, again, some of these are vaccinated and not unvaccinated. Right here is the next graph.
Hold on one second. If you can't see, please feel free to move over so that you can see. And there's also some empty chairs over here.
So right there, Mike. So this is the current guidance right now is, again, we're at 13.9, and that number, as you're going through, you can see from March of last year, you can see the uptick beginning in August and then continuing through September, a huge rise in that November through January, and then back down. So while we, again, if numbers hold how they are, we will start mask required for K through 12 with all of our staff as well. If it holds true to where we are today. And again, this is based upon our current numbers within the county. So if we look at and hover over the end of that graph there, Mike, so we can see, again, 13.9. We have taken some dips for a couple of days, but we will not do this every day. This will be a decision that is made weekly, based, again, on numbers, not on how we're feeling that day, not on how our staff is feeling, our students are feeling, but based upon the actual data that is presented within our county. And so again, if we look back on this, when we get into that yellow zone under 10, we will be back into a mask-friendly environment. Now, mask-friendly does not mean masks are thrown out and never talked about or used again. It will still be mask recommended at that point. We still will be in we'll recommend all staff and students to be in masks, but it will not be at the point of a requirement at that point in time. As we're going through, again, using the data and the latest available data that we can use. And this is after a lot of, again, conversation with our medical advisory team. And I'm very grateful for them, having those conversations with us and being willing to give us their expertise. Again, as we're going through, we will evaluate this on a weekly basis, and we will make that transition again, not after if we're a day in yellow or go back out, bounce up again. We're not going to make the daily decisions like that. We just can't sustain that, long term. And so this again will be made on a weekly basis and communicated out to everyone. Board, do you guys have any questions on that?
Just for clarification for everyone listening, and could you just explain again who's on the medical team?
It is local representatives from VMH, and they have asked that we do not release names publicly for fear of not necessarily pressures from outside sources.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share the link to this?
Yes.
On our website or Facebook, just so that parents.
And I will also send out a communication, to all of our families with this link right on it. And again, this is not an easy decision. This is not, a decision that we came to, or took lightly at all. We will continue to reflect and modify as needed. So there may be a situation if we do have, we do go to a mask-friendly environment when we feel it's the right time to do so, that we would still need to require for a different age group if there is an outbreak or a different building, things just like we had in place for last year. So again, within that. As we're going through, there are also other updates besides masking. Cleaning procedures will continue, the deep cleaning that we have been doing, as well as air handler units will continue to run, turning over fresh air into the buildings, far exceeding the recommendations, and going from there. So any questions about that from the board?
One other question.
Sure.
Is, do you know, or is it a to be determined yet on like what day you'll communicate out for the next week? Is
Yeah,
it
it'll
like a
for sure.
Friday communication?
Yeah, it'll for sure be by Friday. But again, if there's no communication, you're assuming we're continuing as we have been. And so as of today, we are in a mask, mandate as of tomorrow morning. And so again, a required masking at that point in time, not
So
mandated.
there won't be an automatic Friday
No.
update.
Nope,
will
it would just be
if
on
there's a
changes. Yep.
change, then an email will go out
Right.
by Friday.
And it'll be just clear as far as the communication goes on what that looks like. And yeah, any other questions with that?
Tom, could you just review, I think overall last year we were pretty successful in not having in-classroom transmission.
Yep.
And then we also purchased the filtering system. Could you just review that so everyone's again aware of that?
Sure. So we do have a filtering system on all of our air handling units. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. You were more involved in that. That does do the bipolar ionization that does help with everything from viral to even smells and things like that. It does help. And so the other piece there is masking was successful for us. And I know that it's inconvenience. And I tell you, I don't like wearing, a mask. But we know that it works. And we also know that if we want to maintain in-person learning, I think right now that gives us our best shot to do so.
Is it indoors only?
Indoors only, yes.
So
Yep.
even for elementary?
Yep. Outside, they can run around mask free. Yep.
So sports inside?
We are seeking guidance from WIA on that, but yes,
Waiting on
yep,
that?
we'll be announcing that shortly, but we're seeking guidance from WIA on that. Just especially with competition.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was, so we're just right now, you're just updating on like in
Yep.
school learning.
In school
not
learning.
School learning only.
Extracurriculars.
Yes. Yep. Great question.
And it should be noted that just like last year, we're following the Harvard model, which if you look it up, you'll see it online and what that protocol is. It was very successful last year. It's data driven. It's not, like Tom said, it's not because somebody feels that things are getting worse or better. It's about the numbers that are in our county and what the medical community feels is safe for our students and our staff. We have students who live with parents who have cancer. We have family members that are obese, community members that have diabetes. We have children who have some health problems that they are unable to wear masks. And so as a district, we're here to try to give the highest level of safety, not only for our students and our staff, but our families and our community. I know that this has been politicized and I apologize for that. I wish we could go back, but we are following the regulations that we believe will best serve our families and our students so that we can get back to education. I think we all realized last year that not being in school was not the best for our families or our children as far as learning. And so we want our kids to be here. We want our kids to be able to catch up from some loss of learning from last year. And we all know that masks help prevent illness from spreading. So with that, anyone else have any questions or are there any other administrative reports on going back to school?
Yeah, we've got some more points, but I want to make sure that the board is understanding and that's clear. Okay. All right, dismissal times for next year, or for this year, will be elementary school will be 2:53, middle school 3:05, high school 3:08. So extending the day almost back to the full day that we did. Well, not 2 years ago would have been, was that 2019, 2020? So getting back and closer to those times. It's a little bit shorter, but not too much. First day of school, again, will be Monday, August 30th. So the reminder that that is not the first, it is August 30th, the Monday. We are also excited about new staff new teacher in service this week, and then our all staff in service next week. So we are very excited to onboard some of our new staff members, and we're very excited to welcome them into our family and our team. City bus stops are back this year. That was a big point from last year, and we heard loud and clear how needed those were. And so we are going to continue with that. Masking is a federal mandate that we will follow as long as that is a mandate. So we will continue that piece. Lunch program is free to all of our students, and that's from the USDA, extending the free lunch program. And then school supplies is being covered by the district for all of the basics. And so there are different things. If you have questions, building principals have been communicating those pieces out. If you do have specific questions about something you're not quite sure about, please ask your principal, and they'll be able to help you and clarify that. But again, another piece in addition to waiving all fees as far as for students to participate in any of our activities or events, which is again another great thing that I feel that we as a district are able to provide this year. So yeah, otherwise we're excited.
Do you, how will lunch or breakfast be? Is it in classroom? Do you know yet?
I'll let the principal, it depends on the building, I believe. So we'll let the principals do that in their updates. Yeah, they're gonna just do a real quick back to school updates. We moved it up on the agenda. So sorry, everybody. But yeah, they'll hit on that. Anything else district level? Anything? Questions, comments, concerns?
I know there are some questions about the pool. Yep. And what that's going to look like as far as masking. And we're working with the YMCA about that. There hasn't been any commitment as to what that might look like moving forward at this point.
Right.
Today.
Yeah.
Like everything else.
Good change. All right.
Do you want them to go ahead?
Yeah. Jason, why don't you go?
You want just back to school?
Just the back to school.
back to
Yep.
school.
Everything else, the other reports are still at the end of the agenda. Yep.
So back to school, so fall sports have started, are in session. First tennis match was actually today. Outside, gorgeous weather for that.
Jason, could you speak a little louder?
I can.
The microphone is right here. Sorry.
Yeah, so we had fall sports started. I think all are started now. Today, the last of them started up. We have new student orientation coming up on Wednesday. We have new students that move into our district. We encourage them to come in so they can at least see the school and everything ahead of everybody else. New teacher orientation, like Tom mentioned, next week. For new teacher orientation, one of the things that we added this year was a tour around Viroqua for some of our new teachers to just kind of see what's around town too. We've had, I don't know how many, it seems like we've had a lot of students transfer in, and a lot seem to do earlier in the summer, which is always greatly appreciated. So we can get those records requested and everything. Custodial crew has been working extremely hard. We I know John and I over here talked to Lori and we're like, okay, the next week and a half, how can we get where we need to get and everywhere else? So like literally 3 days ago, you probably couldn't have gotten here. You could have gotten in the comments with that, but that was about it. So things are wrapping up that way, which is great. So we get ready for the teachers to come in next week, and we're just excited for that. As far as meals, we'll still finalize plans with Christy to make sure we're okay. But similar to last year, we're counting tables, we're counting seats, just trying to make sure that we're making good choices with everything. I think like with everything, I think we would love to get back to as much normal as we can, but we're obviously going to be cautious and make sure we make good choices to do so too.
John? Yep.
Yeah, sure. I'm John Schneider, middle school principal, for all of you that don't know me. So Jason covered most of the things in the middle school, high school. We share a lot of tasks and roles and responsibilities. A couple of things I'd like to just add to it that will continue as last year, where VAMs, 5th and 6th grade, we'll use those entrances just to keep the flow of students balanced and convenient for families, hopefully, and students. 7th and 8th grade, we'll use the foyer up here, and then high school will use the main entrance as last year. And the bus students will continue to use the entrance by the cafeteria. You know, school starts in 2 weeks, but that's a long time when we watch numbers every day and see what's happening, what's not happening. So I think right now with breakfast and lunch, Christy's here. So we're on track to get back to normal as much as possible. But just please be prepared that all of this can change in a minute. We may abandon the services of our cafeteria from the lunchroom to back up here where we can spread students out more. You know, we don't know exactly what everything will look like for the entire first quarter. But what I can tell you is we are ready to make changes to make sure safe things happen, like Jason said. So a lot of daily decisions, a lot of immediate changes, a lot of communication. We just have to stay on top of it and be very aware, be very alert, and do the best we can for healthy decisions. And all of these decisions, just like Tom said, they are to keep us in school full-time, keeping kids safe, keeping the mitigation, trying to mitigate the spread of COVID from occurring here, or the assumption or presumption of it spreading here. So these are all challenges and goals that we want to we address, we look at, we watch for, and we want to live up to. So and again, just to keep it normal, students want an education, they want to be here, they are social beings, and we want to keep the doors open for students. So if you have any questions?
Thank you. Pat?
I'm Pat Olbert, the elementary and Montessori principal. Kind of like everybody said, sometimes you want to get information out to parents and families about back to school, and then you're kind of glad you didn't send anything out because it would have all changed. So we'll get more information as far as which doors we'll be using, how drop off and pickup. I think last year we learned a lot that we really, I feel like, took every precaution probably that we could think of, and maybe more. And I think over the year we learned a lot, and we can choose which strategies we think were the most successful, and which maybe weren't necessary, and which are really vital. Masks being one of them. We had cases in every building, but it did not spread through the building, which is awesome. So I think a lot of the things we were doing were working. So we'll get information out about all of that. Big project at the elementary school was the start of putting a new tile in a lot of the classrooms. And due to back orders and issues, we probably didn't get through as many classrooms as we wanted to, but that'll continue then next summer. So that impacts, of course, the cleaning schedule and when teachers can get back into their rooms and get ready. So they are busy this week and next week getting ready. And we're finishing up hiring. Hopefully we just have one more hire to get to for the elementary school, and we will be ready to go. Echoing what the other principals talked about, my personal vision for education is I always want students to be happy, healthy, and successful. So I think everything we're talking about here at board meetings and admin meetings, as we talk about staff, all those things to me are super important. So we don't take any of these decisions lightly. We thank you for entrusting us with decisions that schools have never had to make. And, oftentimes we feel like we're not qualified to make scientific and medical decisions, but to be honest, those are what we all have, that same vision that we want to do what's best for kids and keep schools open. So that's where we're at. So we're excited. It's all coming faster than any of us want sometimes. But we're
Pat,
excited for another school year.
Pat, did you want to explain anything about the program for pre-K or?
Yes, thank you. Good point. Yep. So exciting. We just had another parent meeting. That's why I was running a little bit late. And they're starting jumpstart the next 3 days, but we're excited for our 4-day, full day 4K. I'm getting better and better at saying that each time I say it, but that's an exciting opportunity for students, for the community in Viroqua to have that opportunity. I think, you know, we talk about educational gains in the next few years. I think that'll be really exciting to see like how that's their kids' first experience with school and how much more prepared they will be for the rest of their educational journey. And then also our Montessori program is expanded to include 7th grade this year, and then next year we'll have 7th and 8th. So there's been a lot of meetings and planning, and you know, it's all coming together. I think sometimes, again, things don't always come together when you want them to, but they do come together eventually. So all those things are really exciting. I think in the midst of all this, there's some great things going on in Viroqua, and I'm just happy to be part of the circle of doing that.
Does anyone have any questions? With that, we would like to thank the administrative team for all the projects that have been completed over the summer, for all of the time that's been spent focusing on curriculum and students coming back to school, hiring processes, as well as giving students supplies that will assist families financially, as well as our students, so that everybody has what they need to begin and to be successful. So with that, we are now going to go to public comment. Beth, you have that piece of paper? Thank you.
So just a reminder, the mic is over here, so if you could project as much as you can. It should pick it up. We did some tests, but just want to make sure that, you know, we do have people watching virtually as well. So make sure that they can hear and understand you.
So we have the stand right here. If everyone is comfortable speaking there, that would be fantastic. We do have a policy that it's 5 minutes to be able to speak, and Beth is going to have a timer. She'll hold up when you have 30 seconds left. But I just want everyone to be aware of that. I also want to thank everyone for coming. It's fantastic to have people care so much about education and wanting all of our children to be as successful academically as possible. So thank you very, very much for coming tonight. We'll start with Sarah Clemens. Yes.
Can't respond back.
No.
We cannot respond back. Legal counsel recommends that the board does not respond to your statements.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming.
I'm Sarah Clemens, a parent of 2 children currently enrolled in Vans Elementary. I want to thank you for facilitating a safe and successful year last year during a health crisis that still continues to rock the world. I agree completely that the combination of strong virtual options and COVID precautions in school, including full masking, provided for a successful year. This school is one of the pillars of our community, and we are so grateful for it. I wrote this letter for tonight prior to your announcement this evening, so some of it will be need to be adjusted a little. I am here to address the concerns for the decision on a mask-friendly approach for the 21-22 school year. In the email that came out on 8/6/21, the district said they would follow all legally issued orders by governmental agencies, and that the district would continue to consider recommendations and guidelines when determining the best course of action. The Center for Disease Control, Wisconsin Department of Health Services, American Academy of Pediatrics, Department of Public Instruction, and the Vernon County Health Department recommendations for the school year are currently that all teachers, staff, students, and visitors of K through 12 schools should wear a mask indoors regardless of vaccination status. I'm concerned that a mask-friendly policy does not protect our children, the staff, or community, and is not necessarily safe, respectful, responsible, or kind. In addition, it doesn't make the staff's job any safer or easier. Every classroom will be at max capacity. A large portion of the school population is currently not eligible for a vaccine. The Delta variant is highly transmissible, and the Vernon County Health Department currently rates our risk of transmission as high. Mandatory masks are an easy and proven way to significantly reduce transmission. When we protect the health of the students and the teachers, we avoid sick days, loss of work, potential school closures, and the domino effect that that has on our community. Not to mention the very real possibility of someone contracting COVID at school and what the resulting consequences of that could be. What would the defense be if we did not do everything in our power to protect these kids? We know the psychological effect that mask optional rules produce. We know that there will be bullying for those that choose not to mask. It seems far simpler and safer to start strong with a school-wide mask requirement and ease up as cases and county status drop or when a vaccine is available to all. Everyone should be wearing a mask at school regardless of vaccination status. Last year, my family committed to full-time virtual school, and through the grace of your amazing staff, we managed to carry both children through with both parents working full-time outside of the home and paying for supplemental childcare. We want nothing more than for our kids to go back to school. We want them with their teachers. Our children want to see their peers and they want to attend specials again. Edmonton cannot deliver that experience. Making back to school decisions during the pandemic is not easy. The protocol is nuanced, complicated, and risky. The school board members represent the students, the staff, and the families. This is a time when the board members are called upon to confidently make tough decisions on behalf of us all. Though certainly not enviable at times, this is a time when your responsibility must match the weight of your position. Without masks being mandatory, I'm in a very difficult position of deciding if sending my children to school is the right thing to do. I thank you for taking the time to hear my concerns tonight. I would like to implement a district-wide indoor mask requirement to keep our community safe. Following the recommendations from health agencies will help ensure another successful year. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing your children. Anya Leonard.
Hi, my name is Anya. I'll be talking about how important it is to keep our school community safe by wearing masks. In my experience being a virtual sixth grader, I realized that I can't be taking in-person school for granted because it's so helpful for being able to see my classmates and teachers so we can interact better on group projects and have better one-on-one time with the teacher. Also, being in school is less distracting because we have a set place to do our work. Wearing masks protects us from possibly contracting COVID and even the flu, making it healthier for everyone, and it could mean fewer sick days out of school and learning. That means if I have to wear a mask, then I'll do that. It might be hard, but it would be best for learning and for everyone's health.
Thank you very much, Anya. Elizabeth Roberts. I say Dr. Roberts.
You can call me Elizabeth.
Okay.
Yeah, no, mostly I had prepared a different comment, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for listening to us health professionals and my colleagues and people both on local, state, and national levels and all of the agencies that you cited and whatnot. Thank you for paying attention to numbers and data and what works. So thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for your work in the healthcare community. We appreciate it. Dr. Porter.
Hi, I'm John Porter. I'm a family doc of the Gunderson system here in Viroqua for the last 15 years, and thanks for letting me speak. And I wanted to start by kind of referencing what Kim and Angie mentioned, and some of the rest of you as well, like how huge it is, how successful the school was, the school district was at preventing spread. And I think not just like in the school district here, but also other institutions. I see Matt VAS there, Youth Initiative High School also did some pretty innovative things to keep the spread of COVID down. And other institutions, the county jail didn't have any outbreaks there too. So I think that people in our community were really thoughtful and flexible. And I think that, that shows in success. And I think that's something to actually build on, right? So what I would say is like, don't shy away from that success, hold that up as an example of how to go forward as we're bringing more people back into the building with a more potent variant of the virus. Let's kind of double down on that success and keep moving forward. I think it's great to use numbers and data, and I'm super happy that you guys are going to be requiring masks with that. I don't know what the right cutoff is, honestly. I'm, you know, that the science being the living thing that it is, that actually that inspection of that number should be also looked at. Maybe it should be higher, maybe it should be lower, you know, and only time will tell about that. But there is a letter, you know, well, not all, but a huge portion of the local medical providers feel pretty strongly about this. And a letter was constructed that I just wanted to read. It should just take a minute or two here. And I really think it speaks to what you guys have already suggested you're going to do, which is to require masks if there's enough COVID threat out there to keep our students and staff and other community members safe. Dear school board members, administrator, we are a group of local healthcare providers who urge the school board to follow the current public health recommendations for universal masking in K through 12 schools, regardless of vaccination status. This recommendation is from the CDC, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and the Wisconsin Department of Health Human Services. It is also recommended in the recently updated Wisconsin DPI guidance. Vernon County, along with most of the nation, is seeing an increase in COVID cases as the Delta variant has taken over. As of this writing, our 7-day average case rate is 13.9 per 100,000, and our new COVID cases have been rising steadily for the past month. Our current test positivity rate is high at 4.8%, meaning that we are not catching enough cases to slow the spread through isolation and close contact quarantine. Vernon County and Wisconsin have low vaccination rates, which makes us vulnerable to this COVID surge and puts us at higher risk for new variants to occur. Currently, 48.9% of Vernon County residents and only 53.2% of Wisconsin residents have had at least one shot of a COVID vaccine. The Delta variant is far more contagious, greater than 2 times per the CDC, possibly higher by other sources, allowing it to spread rapidly among our unvaccinated population, including children who cannot yet get vaccinated, and to a lesser extent within our vaccinated population. At the same time, we are seeing Delta surge. We have seen an increase in non-COVID respiratory illnesses since the mask mandate was lifted. This includes respiratory syncytial virus, which sometimes requires hospitalization in young children. There are several hospitals and hotspots currently reporting full hospitals, including pediatric beds. The pediatric units are full due to a combination of COVID and respiratory syncytial virus, along with all of the other typical reasons children need hospital care throughout the year. Last year, we saw record lows for respiratory syncytial virus, influenza, and other respiratory illnesses that typically spike in the fall and winter. This is attributed to the improved hand hygiene, ventilation, and asking our students to wear masks. As an editorial, thank you guys. It made my job easier. There is now ample evidence to say that masks work. As we look to a new school year, we will now have a far more transmissible version of COVID in our community. Our cases locally are rising, and we face the specter of a typical RSV and flu season. In addition to the direct risk of COVID-19, the economic and psychological burden of quarantine and missed school days is harmful for our community. It is because of this that we ask you to mandate masks to keep our children in school in person safely. Sincerely, Dr. Roberts, Dr. Porter, Dr. Carlstead, Dr. Woody, Aaron Swigum, Dr. Kalinowski, Dr. Shikoyan, Randy Mickelson, Deborah Gallagher, Jennifer Eisfeld, Kelly Shetter, Dr. Manspeaker, Dr. Fouts, Dr. Devitt, Dr. DeLine, Dr. White, Dr. Wade, Dr. Lawrence, Dr. Redmer, Suzanne Millsna, Candace Hoff, Ann Sherry, Sarah Albrecht, Dr. Davidson, Craig Pierce, Roxanne Holm, Bernadette Adams, Shayna Pankratz, and Dr. Pryor. There's some links as well, but mostly I just want to thank you guys. It's really nice to think about our kids going back to a safe environment with masks on.
Thank you, John. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your work with our healthcare community. We all greatly appreciate it. Jessica Anderson.
I also prepared these remarks for a different situation. I will try to tweak it a little bit as I go. I'm a mother to a 6th grader. Also, I run the Montessori preschool in town. And to start my public comment, I want to emphasize that this Delta variant is different. It's more contagious. It's infections happen more quickly and people become infectious much sooner with this variant. So just thinking about that, you know, at the very least, I would think we would have the same precautions as last year and not less. As some of the other speakers have said, the recommendations are currently universal masking for everybody, whether they're vaccinated or not. There's also a general recommendation for like out in public that if transmission is substantial or high, everybody wear masks. If it's moderate or low, vaccinated people should still be wearing masks, even if it's low. I mean, unvaccinated people, excuse me. And so, you know, with that guidance in mind, and that's for the general public, and the school's guidance is much stricter, where we're supposed to be masking all the time regardless. And what the system that we've set up, although I am very thankful that there will be masking when spread is at its greatest, that is absolutely not what is being recommended. And it is actually below the recommendation for the general public. Because you're saying that unvaccinated kids can go mask free when spread is low. So I just want to make that point. I do not necessarily agree that it's a good idea to have masks sometimes and not others. As a preschool teacher, we have 2-year-olds, 2, 3, 4, 5 at my school. Some of you have had your kids at my school. The 2-year-olds have done great with it. The 3-year-olds, the 4-year-olds, they're fine. They're doing well with it. You know, sometimes it slips, the teacher helps them pick it back up. You know, sometimes they take it off. You say, oops, I'm gonna help you put this back on. They don't have to wear masks when they're outside. They have to wear them when they're inside. And because of the consistency, the DCF, which regulates childcare, never changed our mask mandate because these are unvaccinated kids. And in my mind, it is very wrong that we're going to change that for elementary and middle school students who are not able to get a vaccine. That's scary and it's wrong. And I'm wondering also, you know, I understand that this has gotten political and that you're trying to find an answer that everybody will be happy with. But the people who will be taking advantage of the mask-free option generally maybe come from families where the parents are unvaccinated. Okay, there's a lot of overlap, and I had a study printed out and I forgot it, but there's a lot of overlap between people who are against vaccines and people who are against masks. And so these kids who are going to choose to not wear their masks when they don't have to, quite likely are the highest risk kids in your school that come from possibly unvaccinated families. Okay, and my point is that we have children who can't wear masks, maybe special ed kids who have sensory disorders who don't want to keep it on their face. There are people with obesity. There are people with family members who are vulnerable. And allowing the population to choose whether they take off their masks or not is a dangerous idea, because the ones who are going to choose to take them off are the most high-risk children, okay? I think that, you know, the safest thing that we could do is just have universal masking. And if people are upset about that and don't want their kids to mask, we do have an option for them. It's called virtual school. Now, several of my several parents here have said that we're having a hard time imagining sending our children to school if masking is not required. I am in that same boat. I am desperate for school. We barely made it through the school year last year, okay, with the virtual school, and it was incredibly difficult on many fronts. You know, one, the psychological effects of being that isolated, but number two, the effects of like having to coach your child through their schoolwork when you know, normally they go to school and the teacher would be doing that, okay, and we're trying to work full time and do all of this. So my family and you know, we were instrumental in starting VAMS, and it breaks my heart to say it, but like we're actually considering, because we're open enrolled and we're actually in Kickapoo district, and Kickapoo has said they're going to do full masking. And so we're considering that as an option. And we don't want to do that. We don't want our son to have to start over socially. I think it is better that you're going to require it when cases are high, but that is absolutely not on par with what the recommendation is. The recommendation is universal masking. And even for the general public, when cases are low, the recommendation is masking for the unvaccinated. Yeah, so in some, it also is not good for our community at large to have spread get higher. And we should just do everything that we can to keep the kids safe, to keep the teachers safe, you know, and just to do the best that we can so that we can feel good about having done what we can and not look back with regret when teachers start dying or, you know, it's alarmist, but it can happen. It's happening down south right now. Thank you.
So thank you, Jessica. Thank you for the business that you run in our community, and thank you for speaking. I will say something that you mentioned about Kickapoo is not actually quite what is going on there, but that's something that you'll find out.
I'll have to look into that more.
But thank you for speaking today. Katie Anderson.
I don't need to be redundant, but I too have 2 children in VAMS and then 1 senior who will be doing Edmonton again. And I just fully support universal masking too. I don't want to see cases go up any higher. You know, if one child gets it in a classroom, a lot of them are going to get it. And so I don't need to be redundant in my points, but I just wanted to point that out as well.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, Katie. So thank you all tonight for coming. I don't know if you're all wanting to stay, but we'd love to have you stay. And I don't know if you've spoken and now you're wanting to leave, but please feel free to stay or to go, whatever it is that's convenient for you. And we appreciate your passion, and we are equally as passionate, if not more, than all of you. Education is the most important thing that we can do for our community and our children. The next item is the consent agenda. I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, proof of public notice, approval of agenda July minutes and voucher summary 1 in the amount of $227,325.44 as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? With that, all in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I entertain a motion to approve the voucher summary 2 in the amount of $246,899.98 as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And I abstain. I entertain a motion to accept the donations in the amount of $1,950 from the Viroqua Track Club for a pole vault cover with thanks for their generosity. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? So thank you very much to the Viroqua Track Club. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I entertain a motion to approve the retirement of Kevin Hennessy, high school English teacher, and resignation of Jessica Moyleen, grade 1 teacher, and Casey Moran, special education para, with thanks for their years of service to the district. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I entertain a motion to approve the appointments of Faith Wheat, VAMS Children's House teacher, Morgan Simonson, bus driver, Randy Gabrielson, van driver, Catherine Becker, special ed para, Susan Conaway, special ed para, Jenny Zuby, special ed para, Maggie Albright, middle school volleyball coach, Brittany Dobitz, C team volleyball coach. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Comments and questions? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the board member charter reps, Laurel High School, Vicky Kappa, and BAMS Matt Chubin. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second,
Second.
comments or questions? So you two did it last year, and then Kim, you were part of Trillium. So I don't know if as 7th and 8th grade or 5th through 6th in the future, if we would want to separate that out a little bit, or if VAMS is all going to be under the same umbrella. But right now, and hopefully Kim, that's okay
That's
with
fine.
you, and
Yep.
if that's okay with Matt and Vicky, and we'll see how it all unfolds moving forward. That sounds good. All right, all in favor, vote by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the 2021-22 academic and career plan. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
John, you sent out the career plan document earlier. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I think this might be a good time for me to introduce Mr. Rubisall. Troy is here. He is our new school counselor for middle school. We are excited.
Welcome, Troy.
Thanks for having me. We are excited to have him, and he's never done it here, so he's going to talk all about it. No. So, yeah, in the middle school, you know, a few years ago when this was launched, it was a big thing, and we jumped in and we had weekly lessons. And what we realized, some of you had students go through it then, and some students are just into this because it's about where you're going in life, who you are, developing a 4-year plan for high school. What are you going to do after high school? And we backed off a lot because it was overwhelming for students. 6th graders, some have an indication or an inclination of what they're interested in and where they want to go. And it's fun to watch. It really is, because there is a student, our youngest daughter, Laura, who, since she came over in 5th grade, wanted to be a civil engineer. And she's starting her last year at UW-Madison in civil engineering. So some students really have a kind of an insight into this and a foundation into this kind of thinking. And some students, seriously, when they leave high school, they are phenomenal students, but they really don't have a clue yet where they want to go in life. That's perfectly okay. But ACP helps students dive into some of this, think about it in a more concrete, sequential way, learning career paths. You know, I used to say when about the sophomore or junior age, it's no longer just a trivial question. When you say, what are you going to do after high school, or what do you want to become? Because seriously and truly, the educational track that gets them to that career is very different. It's not always a 4-year degree. Our Western University College here offers so much. Richland, our 2 years, offers so many programs that segue into 4-year that, and it's just good to talk about all these things for students so they see this and it becomes real. So this culminates in 8th grade. We take our 8th graders, usually it's Western, UW La Crosse, and the Turbo, have a career day where they have many guest speakers come, and then we take our 8th grade students and tour the different facilities to get them there so they can see it. And that's an intro to like what in high school when they start to do different college visits. Because they're very important too. If you've ever taken your child on a college visit, being on site has so much meaning to a student above and beyond who they are, where they want to go, or what they want to become, etc. So all those fits have to make sense to students. So we explore that in the middle school. Sometimes it goes more. Sometimes we back off a little. Students don't have an interest in it. But it's really good. It's to talk about it, to get students headed in that direction. So
Yeah, and if I can add to that, I think the ACP program that we use is Zello, and it started off as just a high school career building, and it kind of expanded into almost a K-12 approach. And I think that's an important aspect to look at and how it operates is through the K-12 stepping blocks from elementary to middle to high, and growing that academic and career planning as you go. And so, a 3rd grade student might not know exactly what they want to do. It could be, I want to be a police officer or a firefighter, and down the line it changes in middle school, it changes in high school. And it's just nice to have that resource, that tool to see, where you've been throughout your course of your education, and kind of builds those blocks as you go. And I think that's just, something that we want to continue and to, give the students the resource and the opportunity to explore that.
I always say you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So if you don't know what options are out there, then you have no idea what you might want to do later. And as technology is changing and the workforce is changing, it's pretty difficult to decide what you might want to do in 5 years and what 5 years even looks like in the career world. So thank you. Thank you for coming tonight, and we hope that this year is just fantastic for you. We love it here, and we hope that you will as well. So thanks.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And thank you, John.
He's heard great things about you, so he had to come.
Well, this was a meeting that isn't so stereotypical in our community, so it was a learning experience for all of us. With that, all in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I entertain a motion to approve the bid from Schultz Family Beef to purchase ground beef, $3.51 a pound. For stew meat, ground beef, $3.51 a pound. Stew meat, $4.09 a pound. Pork roast, $2.41 a pound, and ground pork for $2.83 a pound for the 2021-22 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. All right, Christy. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good, welcome.
Thank you. So this year the meat went to Chelsea Family Farms. They're the ones that we have been dealing with for the last few years. Originally, Theo Chelsea called me and asked if I would be interested in getting some beef with them. And I told him that we could go, that I would send him a bid application when we did that in the summer. He sells a lot of prime cuts to restaurants and needed somewhere for the ground beef to go. He had said when he submitted this year's bid that he's expecting the cost of feed to go up significantly. So I thought he did a pretty good job at getting us a real fair price.
And this is from a farm in Wisconsin, is that correct, Christy?
Yeah, they're from Humberg, Wisconsin, which is north of Black River Falls.
In comparison, the prices compared to last year were not very different. So that was very good to see.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. We've been really happy with all of the meat that we've gotten from him. We don't have any problem with delivery. It's just been a good relationship all around.
How often do they deliver to the district? Or is it a one-time?
No, we get a monthly delivery.
Okay.
We would never be able to store yearly. We get about 500 pounds of hamburger every month, which all of our menus that have beef in them are all from Chelsea beef. As far as like the beef tips, the taco meat or barbecue or hot dishes or everything, even the hamburger patties, we make them ourselves. So it's all the beef is local beef.
Any other questions? So thank you, Christy. Thank you for taking the time to do that so that our students have healthier food choices that are also local, that helps the local farmer. It's fantastic. So we greatly appreciate not only what you're doing to get local meat to our area, to our students, but also for everything that you did over the last year, you and your staff, to deliver meals to families and students during the pandemic, plus having pickup for families. You truly were amazing, and we cannot thank you enough for everything that you did.
Well, thank you. Another fun fact about the beef patties, we make them every summer. And this year we made 7,400 patties and froze them for the school year.
Just one more little thing.
Yep, just one little thing.
Oh, boy, I can't imagine that. Okay,
That's a lot.
yes. Thank you for doing that, Christy.
Sure.
How do you make your patties?
We have a machine that is run by hand. That you feed the beef into a funnel type thing and rotate the bottom plate, and out comes the patty. You have to put a lot of muscle into it. So,
They turn them out quickly.
Yep.
They turn them out. It sounds like a lot, but when you think about, 1,100 plus students that we have, it actually doesn't sound like so much. So,
no. And actually it only takes about a week. So, I mean, and not even all day long, a few hours every day for a week. So
okay.
goes pretty fast.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for taking the time to share the information with us this evening too. I know that your days are long. Thank you for the summer school program. Once again, you and your staff are absolutely fantastic. It's impressive. I know you've been doing it for quite a few years. But this year in particular, we just appreciate all that you did to try to make sure all of our students had food every day. And it's life-changing. So thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. It's been an honor to be able to help families in the district, to feed the kids. So it's good. We work just as hard as everyone else in the district.
Yes, thank you. I hope you have a good evening, and I hope this is a great academic year.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Christy.
Thank you.
Any other questions I guess I should ask? With that, all in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I entertain a motion to approve the revised 2021-22 district staff handbook. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions? There were a couple little changes that I had asked that Beth made, so we're all good. It was just a terminology of superintendent, district administrator, so we're all good with that. Anything else? Anyone else? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the 2021-22 district goals. Second? Second. Any questions? They're the same as last year. So we will have a board advance sometime in October. And then we will assess the goals with the administrative team. With COVID, it seemed to me that most of them applied pretty easily moving forward. And also with us having the community gathering in November, that also is meeting some of our goals. And with that, I also think it's a good time to reflect a little bit on all of the things that have gone on over the last year. Tom and I spoke about it. There's a lot of changes that have taken place. All-day pre-K, expansion of Montessori, discontinuing Trillium, virtual education, administrators that haven't been with the district for a real long time, a lot of hiring, a lot of retirement. We had a list, and I don't have the pool, the YMCA, possible property changes possibly. deionization, CARES funding, ESSER funding.
I'm getting tired as you're talking.
I
right now,
know,
Anja.
and the number of phone calls and emails that our administrative team and all of the staff, district staff have received. And I think it's a time for us to thank everyone for all that you're doing. I hope that people are respectful of you when they have conversations. You all deserve that. You are marvelous people, only trying to do the right thing for our students. We appreciate it. And I just want to thank you all so, so deeply for everything that you're doing in these very complicated times for what's best for students and families. With that, all in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Entertain a motion to approve the 2021-22 elementary school VAMs and middle school, high school parent and student handbooks. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Second, all questions? Thank you for trying to make all of these handbooks more unified. I greatly appreciate it. It's been a long time in the making, so I greatly appreciate that. I know a lot of time and energy goes into it. All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the 21-22 activity code handbook. Is there a motion? Second?
Second.
Once again, any questions? That's ever changing as well. As we talk about administrative changes with COVID, there have been changes in those materials also. All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the 21-22 coaches handbook. Is there a motion? Second?
Second.
Thank you all for your work on this book as well. All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries. Entertain a motion to approve 66.03 agreement with Holman School District for the Project Search Program. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Tom or Kathy, did you want to speak to this at all?
I've explained it, how excited we are that project is going forward. In the past, this is an opportunity for one of our students to have some very beneficial job career options at Gunderson Lutheran Hospital. We work through Holman, and we're just very, very excited about giving her that opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for all the time it took to make that happen. I know there was a lot of process. So thank you for that. And it sounds like a wonderful opportunity for the student. Any questions? All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the memo of understanding between La Crosse Area YMCA and Viroqua Area Schools. Is there a motion? Pardon me?
We are gonna remember.
Yeah.
Don't say.
Yep.
Yep, a little bit.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. Tom, do you want to speak to
Sure.
this a little bit?
Yeah, so in conversation with the YMCA and with our legal team, their legal team, our legal team, we have decided that we will be moving forward as more of an, what is the right term that they were using, like administrative?
Management agreement.
A management agreement versus an MOU. The reason is we are talking about some pretty high level agreements. This is not a typical vendor coming in and using our facilities or anything like that we would normally have an MOU for. And so we are going to shift gears a little bit. We still are, all parties are very excited about it. We could move forward with an MOU, but it would just be revised by next month anyway, due to changing it to more of a contractual agreement.
I thought you wanted both. I apologize for
No,
that.
that was not my fault.
I thought
Yep, that's
the
my fault.
MOU was for tonight and then it was
Yep.
going to change. I'm
Yep,
sorry.
that was my issue. So. I
So
didn't
I'm
communicate
going
that
to
clearly.
ask for Matt and Vicky, if it's okay to rescind your motion
Yes.
and then table this so that we have an actual contract versus just the
Yeah.
MOU.
And I do apologize.
I'm
We just
sorry.
we just confirmed this afternoon, so I do apologize for that.
Is that okay? Okay, thank you for that.
No, that makes sense.
Well, we usually have an MOU, but I think because of the legalities, both groups are more comfortable having a more binding legal contract. So, thank you.
Same kind of thing with that one right there.
Okay. With Scenic Bluffs?
Yes.
Okay, we are going to table the Scenic Bluffs nursing contract.
We are still moving forward with it. They've already posted the position and everything. It was again, working through legal there and trying to make sure we're doing everything the correct way. As again, that's typically been an MOU, but it does have some, it's not necessarily a normal MOU kind of agreement. We also will be covered for the beginning part of the year with a former nurse that we, if there is any overlap, which it is looking like we'll have some, we're covered as far as having district nursing full-time here. So we're very excited about that and being able to cover that until the agreement is finalized. Then they have somebody hired for that position.
So when are you thinking that we might, do you think we'll be voting on this next month, or do you think it might take longer?
No, it won't take longer than the next month. No, we're very, very close. We just did the final stamp on it. So we're very, very close. So again, within that, those are the type of things that we could push through. And then I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about having to maybe clean up afterwards and that's something that we missed or rushed through. And so again, especially since we have, a nurse ready to go that has been here, done this before, and will can continue that service that she provided for us last year. So about that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bigley Pool update.
So I'll go ahead.
No,
Mike, you want to
You
go?
got it,
ahead?
Mike.
Yeah,
You deserve to.
the gentlemen were here last week to
I might want to talk a
complete,
little louder. I'm sorry.
completing the caulking that we've been waiting for all summer. Now we're into the curing of that caulk, and I think there is a seal, but it was either going to be done last Friday or today, and I didn't see them today, so I'm assuming that we are good to go. Which would then mean we can fill a pool and start the pumps on dry pumps for the last 2 years. So we're gonna wanna have some professionals on hand to tell us how things are operating, because until we, like we said before, until we fill it and turn it on, there's really no test we can do to guarantee how everything's gonna work. From there then, once the pool is filled and operating correctly, we'll need the process of starting to hire some lifeguards and swim instructors and everything like that. So the YMCA, agreement is really needed to get moving, but we are a ways away from being able to be open for the public swimming. It won't be in August. I can guarantee you that. Along with our maintenance people are busy. I mean, this is their busiest time of the year. This is their day after Thanksgiving, where everybody's coming back and wanting everything done, and they go really hard through it. And to tell them that the pool is now ready to be filled probably would be met, with daggers, I guess would be the way to say it.
So Mike, do you mind speaking to how long we've been trying to get caulk and someone to actually do the work so that people are aware that this was
like
not
other
intentional?
industries.
You're gonna make him relive this, huh?
Yeah, no, like other industries, everybody's on a back order, and the fire in Chicago, the petroleum fire, that processing plant changed things. Cargo ships, I understand, changed things. And I think quite honestly, our caulk that was on order may have been used on another job. And we can't necessarily control that. And the subcontractor that was set to install the caulk for us couldn't control that. So there's frustration all around. But the good news is we got the right stuff. We got the quantity we needed, and we were able to get it done. So, yeah, it's been probably all told 6 months.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add to that?
No, just a huge thank you to Mike. He has been the main point person for not only our contact with the YMCA, but also our contact with our pool guys that we have really, I mean, just contacting everybody and throughout the industry, trying to get the needed supplies and the needed materials to put that caulking in and then the primer in. And again, and it feels, I guess I'll believe, that's where I'm at right now. I want to go down there just because this has been such a process, you know, but again, Mike has done such a nice job with keeping that communication open and again, getting a pool back in line for a community that desperately needs it is something we're still making a priority.
And CISA 10 is also working on the air handling in the pool.
Yep.
Getting that ready for a proposal of some sort. So things are moving, we're just not open.
Oh, I forgot to mention CISA 10.
Yep.
When I was talking about the things that happened this year. The whole district has been evaluated as far as the mechanics and structural content of the building. So that's something else that happened. Thank you, Mike. Any questions for Mike or Tom? Okay, the visioning process update.
Yeah, so we will continue moving forward with Drew Howick from Howick and Associates for an exciting community conversation this fall. This is what you guys agreed for the purchase of that future search that we are really excited about. As a new district administrator, going through this process has been really eye-opening to me already, as we created a design team to plan the event. So this is not my vision. This is not the board's vision. This is an actual, you know, getting the whole community together, and they are going to express to us what they expect from us, what they see as the future of Viroqua area schools, and really coming together and saying, these are some of our common goals and things that we have, and it's common ground that we can find, and then moving forward. So we do have a design team. They have already met once. We have our second one this week. We'll have a third one next month, and then our event. So mark it on your calendars is, Beth, can you?
November 4th, 5th, and 6th.
November 4th, 5th, and 6th. And so that'll be in the evenings on the 4th and 5th, and then the morning of the 6th. So please have your calendars marked. Anybody out in the public watching me live right now on YouTube, please mark your calendars. This is going to be a very large event. We are expecting around 150 people to attend the event. And so that design team is designing everything from conversation starters to order of events to what food we're going to have and where we're going to have the event and everything in between. And so I do appreciate all of the design team members. We will send out some save the dates here very shortly, and then going from there. Also, thank you to Pat Olbert, who designed logos, and the design team will be choosing between those this Thursday. So he has a talent for some graphic design, and we use that talent often. So, again, an exciting process that for as far as we can see, as far back as we can go, we've got some, historical perspective. We've never done anything quite like this to really define what the community expects, what we expect, and what we're able to provide to meet the needs of our community. And I'm really, really excited about the process and the opportunity. And again, this is the why you hire Howick and Associates versus us doing this in-house. Beth and I have had so many great conversations and being able to organize and structure things that we would be having to create on our own. And it's just not something that is in our wheelhouse or expertise or something we do often enough to really have this down pat. And so again, been very, very productive and very good. So any questions on that process?
The only comment that I have is I'm hopeful that COVID will not put a wrench somehow in this process.
Yep.
it's a little ways away and it is the beginning of November, and I'm hopeful that it'll be everything that we're wanting it to be. So,
Yep, hopeful is a great word, and if we've learned anything, it's that and nothing is for sure, and we will be ready to adjust as needed. So,
perfect.
any other questions? Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Administrative reports. John, would you like to go first?
Sure, I'll start. Troy started today. We've got some changes in the schedule. One big change with VAS. They came through with how they want specials. So there are a few changes. Enrolling new students. All of this just takes time. I probably have received 20 or 30 emails about certain scheduled things that need to be addressed. And they all take a few minutes. Some take a half hour, 45 minutes. Some are a 5-minute thing. So he's here today getting started with that. And but back to school, teachers are in. Today, there are probably 5 or 6 teachers in, getting their classrooms ready, getting organized, coming up with questions. It's good. It's awesome. They're excited. And they're trying to figure out what their next step is and how everything will look. So, I feel really good. And I think the teachers I talk to feel really good. They're excited and ready to get things going. So
John, do you have any guess as to the increase in students for middle school?
no, it's so hard because what I don't see is the withdrawals yet.
Correct. Unless people are asking for transcripts or something.
Yeah, no, I really, it's way too early to really say a number. Yeah. We are, I am engaged in some email conversations with parents. Some of it's with the mask issue and just kind of other ancillary kind of questions. Parents are wanting to know exactly kind of what's going to go on and how it's going to work and before they make a decision. So, most of the virtual families, I think, are coming back in person, or as of right now. Like tomorrow morning, we're giving several tours to parents that are just on the end of the brim, not sure which direction they want to go yet. A few that have said they're just going to homeschool, and they're going to come in and talk and potentially go, virtual. They're just unsure yet. And that's an okay place to be, So hopefully a tour will acclimate them to the building. Some of the parents are new to the building as well, so they just don't know. So it's a good thing. So, but I think all in all, Darcy started today. That's always a big sign. How would you know Darcy when she comes back? The rubber hits the road. So it's a great thing. So no, it was very busy today. It was excellent. It was awesome.
Jason?
Well, as the non-art principal, I'd also like to thank Pat Oberg for his skills. Saves me from having to do anything art-wise. We kind of mentioned the back to school earlier. It was nice to get out to the tennis match today. Great weather for it, and see kids actively involved. We did get our AP exam results back. We had 36 students pass combined 51 AP exams. It was a decrease of 3 students and 5 exams from the previous year. But the previous year was actually a larger increase from the year before. So the 21 was still larger than the 2019 group. And we had kids take exams in 8 subjects, and in 7 of the 8 subjects, our student average was above the state student average. So great job by the teachers and the students with that. Also, I will tie in to the AP because it arrived to me Friday morning. Western sent me the annual, this is how much transcripted credits you had. So we last year had 62 students earn transcripted credits, a total of 219 credits. And Western loves to throw out to us, that is a total savings of the students of $31,224.60.
I personally love that too, just to
So
get-
I thought, especially with the AP results, the transcripted ties right in with it. So, and again, just great job by the students and staff as far as earning those things. So.
Vicki might become the next advocate for Western, I'm not sure.
We'll see what the board says tomorrow.
I'll let you know. She has new employment there as well, so. But that's great. I mean, what wonderful numbers. And I'm hopeful that families realize what a savings that is when their children decide to go to some pathway of higher education, so.
And Tom and I are working on setting up a meeting probably mid next month with Western to see if there's additional options that we can work on and work through. So.
That's
Expanding
great.
that- Expanding that partnership, yeah.
That's fantastic. Good to know. And that's great. Also, the AP classes, that saves families a lot of money too, once they go on to whatever their career choices are, so.
And I just want to point out again, Jason said it, but I want to say it again. So 7 out of 8 of the tests that our students took, our students scored above state average. So again, when we're talking about that, not only was it successful for the individual students, but as a collective, group that took those, we performed very, very well in comparison to the state. So thank you, Jason, and your staff for everything that they're doing. That's awesome.
You mentioned fall activities. Any other? You said tennis.
Well, tennis started last week. Cross country started today. Volleyball was
Today. Yep.
Football's been going for a couple weeks. They have their scrimmage last Friday, so they have their first game coming up this Friday. Tennis is home again tomorrow. As we just, you're going to start the first week of competition with 3 competitions. Well, technically 4. It's a try on Friday. So tennis is home again tomorrow and then away at home on Friday. So, it's great to see the students back in the building as we navigate them around the commons and, to the areas that they can walk in. And it's not great to see them walking in an area that's closed off. But, just to see them and see that excitement and to interact with them and get the start of it. So.
Is the, you said tennis is home, volleyball, is that?
Well, volleyball, they would have just started practice this week. So I want to say their first home event is September 2nd versus Westie.
Yep.
Okay.
Scrimmage Saturday.
Yeah, scrimmage Saturday. Football, I believe, is home this weekend versus Dodgeville. We're to fall. If you're non-allergy sufferer and you don't realize you're to fall, we are to fall.
And the WIAA with the fall activities, have they been
They've
responsive?
been very silent, yes.
Not
The last
responsive.
update was July 20th.
Yeah.
Sent you guys. I think.
Yes. That was the last communication. We have heard that they will be communicating soon, but I don't know what soon means.
And even that communication wasn't in depth.
Correct.
And for those that aren't aware, the WIA actually on their executive board had a huge turnover this year. So they've actually turned over a number of positions, including the head of the WIA. So,
Correct.
They're definitely still processing through some things.
Are you trying to reach out to them since our fall activities? Are you pushing the envelope a bit?
I'm gonna say for volleyball for sure, there's definitely gonna be some connections out to just get some guidance there.
Outside, it makes it easier. That really does eliminate a lot of the issues, but the indoor ones, we've got some fun conversations coming up. So.
Okay. I just know with different school districts doing different things. So thank you.
Yeah, and the athletic directors, they're meeting soon, I think.
They've been having communications, we know. I mean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, constantly.
Okay.
Everything's got to be a change from last year, or
Yeah.
at least considered from last.
And I mean, ideally, I think when you get to conferences
especially the more consistency we can have, the
Mhm.
easier it is to
Better.
enforce anything, so.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Summer project update, Mike?
Yes, we all have the same ringer, so we're all kind of. No, so as mentioned earlier today, this evening, the tiling project at the elementary school was delayed for supply issues. It actually came in quicker than we thought. What we didn't anticipate was the amount of time. We had really, really good glue under the carpet in the rooms. And the tear out took a lot longer than they were anticipating. That coupled with the fact that those new tile has to be sealed and cleaned and sealed. And then the rooms put back together, and then the hallways put back together and sealed and cleaned and everything. It became pretty evident that we didn't allow enough time even before the delay. The delay actually made it an easy decision of where we cut off. So where we cut off was we finished the 4th grade and the 3rd grade rooms. Next summer, we'll have a plan that will probably include maybe starting down on the kindergarten wing and actually starting as soon as students are out and not waiting until after summer school and shifting everything, to the rooms that we've gotten done. And we'll just have it set up better. So, the thought was, could we do it over a holiday break or, whether it be Thanksgiving or around the Christmas holiday? And it's just not enough time to do the tear out, to do the cleanup and put it all back together on a sealed surface. Just wouldn't be enough time to do that. So we'll hit it again next summer, and states have been great to work with and very accommodating as far as the billing and everything like that. So we're good there. It's just a beautiful projector system here in this building. All this comes together in the summer, and by in the summer, I mean after July 1st and realistically after July 15th. So you basically have 6 weeks to get everything ready, and we've got a great communication, and they're doing a number of these throughout the district. This is by far the biggest, but I think tonight we're already seeing, the benefits of this system. There will be one in the district office, then I think a couple others throughout the district to be used for distance learning and for, communicating purposes.
Yeah, on that note, this is, at least in my opinion, the best setup we've had, for being able to see everybody, for being able to have this, conversation, and while everybody can still hear us picking up the mic. So thank you to Pat Z and all of his team, for getting this ordered.
And Terry and Cody.
And Terry and Cody.
For doing the install.
Absolutely.
And whether it be a new desk in the cafeteria and a couple of new ovens that we were able to purchase under a grant program, all that seems to come in right now.
Yep.
And
Usually when the floors are getting waxed.
usually when the floors are getting waxed. And this year, a summer project that is not a normal summer project is the supplying of school supplies. I mean, we have picked up, I think, 4 skids of school supplies from Walmart. And I know another 2 got delivered today from School Specialty. And when I say skids, I mean pallets full of school supplies.
Right.
And now we've got the logistical fun of getting them into the hands of the teachers to get them into the hands of the students. It's a great thing, but it was a project. It was a project for the accounting office. It was a project for the maintenance, and it's going to be a project for Deb Beaver, Darcy, and Chris, and then ultimately the teachers. So that was a big undertaking this year that when we started talking about it, it didn't seem like that big of a deal.
Let's order them. They show up.
Yeah. School supplies. I take my kids every year, I didn't think about doing that 1,000 times.
Yep.
It'll be fine. It's going well. I do think they're on pace to have the floors where they want them. They were able to do a couple of strip and re-wax. Fortunately, we're still mowing grass, which in a normal summer by now, it's pretty much wrapped up, but because of the moisture, we've got beautiful lush green grass that keeps growing. It's just everything. So I mean, they've been working really hard and the school will look, and it does already look very, very nice and they're doing a great job.
Is space, like just holding the tile, like they have
Actually,
all the
we have the
tile?
tile.
Okay,
We have the tile.
I just know like, our luck would be like the colors would change. And
No,
you'd be
we
able to
have
get it.
pallets of, we have pallets of tile. That's another issue because of our less than confidence in our storage facility being strong enough to hold pallets of tiles. We've had to get creative and have them in spaces that is safe to hold pallets of tile, because they're heavy, you know.
Do they worry about moisture issues by storing them?
Where they've got, Todd is confident they'll be fine. So,
Good question.
that was asked, moisture and cold.
And the adhesive and everything.
The adhesive is stored climate controlled and everything. Actually, I'm not, they might be storing that there. Actually, I'm not.
There's a shelf life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly why.
Okay.
And then of course they'll have to have it acclimate the actual tile whenever they're ready to put it in anyways. So, yeah, we learned a lot. It's been a fun summer, fast.
Fun isn't.
Yeah.
So this library looks amazing.
You just done a great job.
You all did a fantastic job. And the media specialist obviously was integral. Oh, did an amazing job. To get all the books, to move the shelving, get the shelving put in. I mean, walking through the halls, the building just looks fantastic. And thank you all for this. We have younger students in the building now, so materials are more accessible to them. It's really remarkable. So thank you. Any other questions? With that, motion to adjourn. Second, I hear a second. Second. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for everything.